Over 30% of Camosun College students are over 30. The average age is 26 and increasing. In the next half hour, you'll meet 4 students that after more than 10 years decided to come back to school.
Hi, my name is Maria Boomhauer. I have been out of school for 12 years raising children. I have 3 at home, which have kept me very busy, but I have decided that I wanted to come back and see what I could do to fill my own capacities in the world and to explore new areas, to find things that I could do for myself beyond the family as an extension in my life. I love it. I love being back in school. I've enjoyed learning, enjoyed being around the people, making friends, learning new things. It's been great. It's as much as I love my children and my family, it's something else that's for me. My day at home, they can be hectic. They're all different. I'm in school 2 days a week, 2 full days, from like 8:30 to 5:30. On those days, the mornings can be very fun because my husband might have a call. We're trying to get the children all ready for school, trying to get last-minute things done together and to get here on time. Other days, I'm doing homework. We still get them to school. And on the weekends, trying to get homework accomplished, being in and out and amusing them. I have very full, very active days, but I'm very much so happy with the way things are going right now. Right now I'm taking 2 English courses and a psychology course, and I will be also being 2 English courses and a psychology course in winter, and next year I want to go into applied communications. The sacrifices that I've made to come back to school mostly have been time. I still have my responsibilities for my children, and with the homework, the schoolwork, it is a lot that I have to do, and there's not getting out as much at times. But I'm very much enjoying the school. I enjoy my family, so I find the sacrifices are worth it. My children are all hyperactive, and they're up at 6 a.m. every day. They go all day long, sometimes 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night before they go to sleep. And so there has been nights when I have had finals or assignments due in, and I've been up 2, 3 in the morning doing the assignments, and then back up at 6 a.m., get the children ready, maybe throw some laundry in the washing machine to get going. And my husband's a good cook. We both are, so that really helps too. Come home and he'll have the meals or do the meals while I'm trying to study sometimes if I can manage it. But it can be hectic, but we're both doing what we want to be doing, so we figure it's worth it. And we struggle at times, but we're managing.
Many things have changed. We've been helping her a lot. We can't spend much time with her. It's been very, very different. And mostly, we're spending tons of time with my dad. And usually we spend lots of time with Andy because my dad's working and my mom's busy doing schooling.
My family feels really good about me going back to school. Terry, my husband, I told him in February I wanted to go back, and when I went to the best course over at Cary Road, and the children actually are really pleased. When I went to the parent-teacher interviews for my daughter, the teachers there have told me that the children talk about it, and they said they're very proud of their mother going back to school, and it's been a real pleasure knowing how they feel and their support. For those who are wondering if they should go back, who have been out of school for many years, especially with children, there's one thing they should remember. If they really want to go back, there is always a way around everything. Things that seem impossible to get around, there is always a way to brainstorm through. And you write down any crazy idea that comes to your head, because through the crazy ideas, fantastic ideas come out that actually do work out. You just have to remember that if there's a will, there is always a way.
Faculty and staff had this to say about returning mature students.
College, over the last few years, has noticed an increase in its student population. The average age is increasing, and the average age currently is approximately 26. We see a little bit more females than males on campus. Lots of single women, single moms returning to learning.
In our program, we have students who come from a wide range in terms of age. Some are directly from high school, 18 or 19 years old. Some are in their mid-20s, 30s, 40s. Some are even grandparents. So it's quite a variety of age groups.
We have quite a large mix of age groups in the program. We have students right from 18 right up into their 50s, and really they get along very well. The young students are full of energy and enthusiasm, and the older students bring a lot of maturity and wise counsel for the younger students, and they're more mature, and it makes a nice blend and mix, and it works very well.
Hi, my name is C.J. Weber, and I've decided to come back to school after a 10-year absence. My old job was getting kind of boring, and I needed a new challenge, so I decided to enroll in the ACP program at Lansdowne campus at Camosun College.
My name is Rocky Weber. I quit school 23 years ago. Since then, I've worked in mines and cooked. For the last 5 years, I cooked on Salt Spring Island, and I've come back to school now because it was time for a career change.
I've been out of school for 10 years, and in the meantime, I've done a variety of jobs, some bartending, some waitressing. But the last 3 years I spent working as a nurse's aide in a long-term care facility. It was really interesting work, but it wasn't enough of a challenge anymore. I decided I really needed to do something different. It was time for a major career change, and that's what I'm doing now, and I really enjoy it.
I think the biggest difference I've noticed is that in high school, kids were there because they had to be, where in college, they're here because they want to be. There's more motivation.
Most of the time I really enjoy the energy working with younger students brings. They're really unique. They're lots of fun.
It's funny, I don't feel older than them. They do. You know, I don't consider myself older. Age is a state of mind, and I don't feel old.
In spite of all the homework that people have, you have to make time for your family and for yourself. And it's important to schedule a little bit of time that's away from school, away from homework, that involves just the family and not involving housework or chores, just a special treat time, even if it's just short. It seems to add a coherence to everything, keep it all together.
Even if it's just renting a movie and sitting down together and watching a movie, going for a walk. We talked to our son before we came back, and when we had decided between the two of us that we were going to come back to school, we sat down and talked to him, and he thought it was a great idea. I'm a professional cook. It's really hard for me to teach him. It was too frustrating for me. I'd rather just say, move, I'll do it myself, I didn't have. But now that Carol sort of taught him the basics, I can work with him and not get as frustrated. I can show him, okay, now do it this way. The instructors all relate to me as almost like a peer. There doesn't seem to be a student-teacher thing there. It feels really good to be back in school because I get to spend more time with my family, and also because I'm doing really well at subjects that I did really poorly at in high school. I don't know if it's going to be easy for me to find a job in computing when I'm finished. I just wanted to learn computers, and I thought this was the best way to learn them, was to come back to school and take a course in it. I'd tried teaching myself at home, but reading through a manual and trying this and doing this and making a mistake and going back to the manual, and it's really frustrating.
Now that I'm back at school, most of the time I feel really good, really challenged, but boy, there's a lot of stress and a lot of deadlines, and I find those rather difficult to adjust to. I was used to having flexible hours, a lot of time on my own to do what I wanted to do when I wanted to, and not quite as much group interaction. So you have a whole lot of new things to learn, but it adds to the fun, it adds to the challenge, and it adds to all kinds of potential.
I feel computers are great. They allow you to be creative. They save you time, especially for doing homework, for doing any kind of writing. Carol doesn't like them.
I find that they're just a tool and they're a big pest. I don't find them particularly creative when it comes to writing. I find them creative when you do graphics. But as far as writing or using them for homework, I find them very time-consuming. I think one of the things that I miss the most about being back in school is having an income that you always know is coming in, and knowing that you can go to work and make X number of dollars per hour and you know it's there. Even if you overspend, you can have it back. Whereas when you're on a student loan and your own private savings, you don't have that flexibility.
For anyone thinking about coming back, just make sure that you're ready and that you really want to, and make sure you have your finances all set out and budgeted well.
To anybody thinking about coming back to school, especially a mature student, the only thing that I would say is do it. You'll love it. It's great. And you'll always be learning. You'll always be excited, stimulated. First of all, though, make sure that what you want to do is what you really want to do. Make sure your courses are comfortable. Make sure that your family understands that they'll be taking on a lot of the work for you, especially chores, things like cleaning the bathroom. Make sure that you understand and they understand how tight the budget can be, but that it's not forever. Make sure that you always build in a little bit of play money so you can do something special, all of you together, even if you just need to get away for a night by yourself. Most of all, remember to keep some balance in your life, with your study, with your play, and with your family.
Well, the older students get along well with teachers usually because they have a really clear idea of where they're going. They're very well motivated. They've often had lots of experience working and setting priorities and working with people, so that they know if they have to get things done, they perhaps manage their time a little better than younger students.
It's really difficult to measure success just because some students find themselves successful by completing one course and then they're able to move on to another program or another certificate. But one of our students just recently won an award. She's a single mom with 4 children, and she was top of her program. So it's lots of students are really successful. We've also instituted, there's a number of things to help students in their success at the college. There's a free study skills course with individual learning modules and exam taking, essay writing, speed reading, that type of thing. There's a math center and a writing center, career counselors, as well as advisors like myself available for help.
From my point of view, from my experience with mature students who are coming back to school when they haven't studied for a long period of time, that's a really anxiety-producing situation, and I think there are some things that people can do to get ready for that. Mostly I think they can test the waters, take a course, something like reviewing something that they have done before, like biology or math or English. They can get used to what it's like to be a student in a classroom and have to budget time to study, that kind of thing, if they take a course and see whether or not they think it really is for them before they really commit themselves whole hog. The other thing I think that's really, really beneficial for students that are returning when they haven't studied for a long, long time is to take a study skills course. And there's one at Camosun, and I'm sure every institution has something like it, but that's really helpful for students to do that before they get in all the way into studying.
If you're planning on retraining or coming to the college for a new career or the first career, what I advise you to do is to plan early, to make a decision to come back, possibly start off slowly, maybe take 1 or 2 courses to get your feet wet, so to speak, just to find out if you like the courses you're taking and it's in the area you want to take. There's a free 2-hour career options workshop put on by the counselors, which will look at, it's just a beginning career search, and it looks like at what you're interested in and who your friends are, what you like to do, and trying to put that into line with possible career areas. If you're really sure of what you want to do, you need to make sure you have the entrance requirements and apply. Get in. Some of the programs have a year's wait list, while others you can go right into, such as computing technology. While as applied communications, usually there's a year's wait list to get in. Some students like to take some courses within the program before they get into it to lighten their load, and that's a really good idea, especially if you have other commitments such as family or kids, or you plan on working part-time because you can't afford to go back to school full-time. That type of thing makes a difference.
Hi, my name's Tyler, and the last time I was in school, the teacher-student lines were very severely drawn. The teachers were all addressed by their last name, the students were all students, and we were in a very strongly subordinate position. After coming back to school now, I find that the teachers are very dedicated to what they're doing, the students are dedicated to what they're doing, and we all have a sense of being in it together. And if you show the effort and the cooperation with the teachers, they will bend over backwards to help you make it through your courses. And I think an easy way of summing it up is everybody's on a first-name basis. It's like we're peers and we're bonded together. Everybody's trying to do their job. Being in classroom with people that are quite a bit younger than myself has been not as hard as an adjustment as I thought it would be, because in the field I work in, I work with young people, but I find myself much drawn to these young people. I see them doing the things I was doing when I was their age, but I see them doing it better. It's a little upsetting at times, but in general I'm really enjoying going to school with these people. It's woken me up, it's got me out of some of the ruts I've been in, it's been a real eye-opener for me. And the reason I came back to school here at Camosun was in the field that I work in, I found employment opportunities and chances for advancement narrowing down quite rapidly, and found that people getting the better jobs were people that were more qualified. That was one of the major forces making me decide to go back to school. I'd say some of the major changes in my lifestyle was having to get back into a disciplined, hard-working, work ethic kind of thing, where not only do you have to do your job, but you also have to go home at night and you have to do a certain amount of homework. Other changes in the lifestyle is not just demands on your time, but demands on you financially. A lot of things you took for granted before you can't do anymore. You don't have that Friday night out because of financial pressures and school pressures. You don't have the chance to socialize the way you used to do, once again, because of financial and social pressures again. And I found myself dealing a lot more with people that are younger than myself and having to adapt to their viewpoints. And it's been actually quite a learning experience being opened up to this. Managing homework was probably one of the biggest problems I had to overcome initially, just the fact of doing 8 hours in school and going home, having a bite to eat, and having to sit down and do 4 more hours of work. When I first started school, I found my hands wouldn't work right. I'm not used to sitting down writing page after page of notes. I found I didn't have the discipline to sit down and get my brain to focus for 2 hours doing homework. It probably took most of the first semester to get back into that academic swing where you could sit there and grab a few hours study here or a few minutes there and sit down and get something accomplished. As far as homework goes, or just school itself, that was one of the major adjustments, was just getting that self-discipline back to being able to sit down with the books. It's going a lot better, of course. Well, it'd have to be. I'm in my 3rd semester now. But the workload itself is quite heavy, and you do have to keep with it, and you can't let it slip away from you, or it does slip away from you. In addition to the student loan, I work part-time at one of the local hotels, 2 or 3 shifts a week. I found I would like to put more time into my studies, but I found the student loan is not enough to get by on, and you must supplement in some fashion. Working with computers has been another major adjustment. In the field I've worked in, I've been on the periphery of using computers in my day-to-day work, but never really understanding them. With the program I'm in, we're forced to not only understand computers, we have to program them, we have to learn an inside working of them. Before, I was quite scared of computers. If it did what I told it to do when making an order, it was fine. But as soon as it had a problem or it broke down or some little bell or whistle went off, I just backed off. I didn't know what to do. I don't have the fear of them that I had before. And this is good because almost every field of endeavor, computers are taking over a large portion of it, and I feel you must have a working knowledge and understanding of computer systems. Some of the personal sacrifices I've had to make to go back to school is loss of steady job and employment income, I have no security at the moment. I'm incurring fairly substantial loans to the student loan people, which will have to be paid back. My personal life has dropped off to virtually nothing. My social life has had to go on the back burner, and I'm sure there are other problems that will crop up as the course continues. The only advice I could give to anybody who's seriously thinking of coming back to school again is be prepared to work hard, be prepared to make some sacrifices, but by all means go for it, because the worst that can happen to you is you just go back where you are now, and if you come back to school, all kinds of doors open up for you.
The older students often relate really well to teachers because they've had a lot of life experience. Many of them have been out in the work world for quite a while. They understand the value of getting things done, of accomplishing goals, and so that they can really relate well to priorities in class and in the various labs that they have, and make sure that they get things done. And they're very motivated. They're people who want to be here and see the value of post-secondary education.
Well, we offer, for new students coming in, where the Advising Center is offering an orientation, which actually we've made mandatory for registration. And it's 2 hours, we give an overview of the college, a tour. We run through the items of the college that help to make a student more successful, such as the Writing Center, the Math Center, the computer labs, study skills, counselors, advisors, that type of thing. Lots of students coming in now may have a fear of new technology, which would be, they're afraid to use computers. And in most programs now, or most courses, you can use computers, but to overcome that fear, there's a micro lab which is open to anybody on the floor of Fisher 200. If you take an English course, your first year English course, you'll not only learn how to type if you don't know how to type, but also how to do the word processing and process your essays and get them typed in, because that's a requirement for most of the courses now.
Another thing that I think is really important for mature students to look at is not only what it's going to be like to be a student in a classroom, and a student who has to develop some new skills in terms of handling their studies, but also I think it's really important for a mature student to look at their support systems, because they're really going to need them, and they're really probably going to need things to change at home, especially people who have families, in terms of who does what. And I guess I think mostly about women, because most of our students happen to be women who are used to carrying a lot of the household responsibilities, and it's impossible for somebody to carry on with a full course load and that full-time job as well. So I think hopefully that's part of the study skills course, is helping you to look at how to change those kinds of things or get ready to change them. But if not, I think that's something that people really need to look at. You can't pretend that you can do all of that and be a student at the same time and succeed.
We have a lot of students who come back in their 30s, 40s, and even 50s to mature students, and they find it a very positive experience. They feed on the energy and enthusiasm of the younger ones, and they at the same time bring a lot of maturity to the program, and they don't find it very difficult because they are able to set goals and priorities, and they work well with the younger students. So most of them enjoy it and enjoy the program.
Sure, I would recommend them coming back to school, but plan early. It's really important to plan early and apply early and find out your information early. The most successful students are the ones who apply to the college early and have a definite career goal in mind. They're the ones that our stats show are the most successful.
Tune in next week when Group E presents the new Student Society. This has been a Group D production by the Applied Communication Program at Camosun College, 3100 Foul Bay Road, Victoria, BC, V8P4X8. And hey, we look forward to your comments. Or phone us at 370-3403.